once saw a programme, or like a YouTube presentation about clergymen getting away with murder in Oxford, like kind of posh privilege, which seems like a complete turnaround to what they should represent. God is more or less saying, like these people, they got away with murder because they had like the sorcery, and the mystic know how to get away with stuff, like sort of accumulating to the Masons, Freemasonry, the so-called Christian Clever Club, all that rubbish. Like God says, like from the start, like God was the bigger tool, like in the process, and like people, like could have tackled that kind of sorcery and privilege if they'd have just pressed down, like in any circumstance, like oppression, like people, men especially need to really be fearless in God. God always shows me like the cross, like particularly when I feel like I'm about to fall. I'm in a lot of pain right now, like physical pain, where they're like crushing my insides all the time, every day. Like restricting my breathing, like sometimes I actually like more or less pass out with tiredness, but I'm just putting my trust in God. He always gives me the cross. As you can see, it's actually having a big impact on my character now, being prepared for rulership, the masculine kind of look, like a battle axe, like this is where God's taking me now, to, like on righteous grounds, to keep pressing down and to keep putting my head up, holding my head up, because these sorcerers, they via V2K, they just want you to bow your head to them, like, and that's not the way that God teaches his people, his followers, like you don't press your head down. I just flick my head, trying to break my neck all the time and stuff. Like you just keep going, and like you just take the pain. It's just pain, like, and it's righteous, and like it's just, and you're going to see these people come to fruition, who they really are. Like all the structure of our society and the matrix is coming down as we speak, and a new thing is coming. And once these people are out of the world, we can be finally free of that tyranny at last.